All right, let's dive right in. Today we're unpacking a financial what-if story that honestly is pretty mind-blowing. We're going to explore how a single decision, at least according to our source material, could have spun a pretty small investment into an absolutely life-changing fortune.
So let's just start with a question that really gets the wheels turning. Could one single $1,000 move have completely rewritten your entire financial story? I know, it sounds like something you dream about after buying a lottery ticket, but it's the core idea behind the story we're digging into today.
Because the potential answer to that $1,000 question, it isn't just a simple yes. According to the source we're looking at, the answer is this: a staggering $4.8 million. So how on earth is a number like that even possible? Let's find out. And that brings us right to our first section, the $4.8 million question. Seriously, how do you get from a small starting point to a number that massive?
That's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to peel back the layers on this claim. We'll follow the logic from the source material step by step, just to see the path from that initial small bet to, well, a fortune.
To really get how we arrive at that multi-million-dollar number, we have to go way back to the beginning, to what our source material calls a $5 gamble back in 2012.
You know, what's so wild about this is the sheer contrast. Think about it. Back in 2012, Bitcoin was just $5. Nobody really knew what it was, and most people thought it was incredibly risky. And now, that same asset is being talked about as the foundation of a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward story.
Okay, now for the fun part where we really get into the nuts and bolts. Let's walk through the math exactly as it's laid out in the source material. The whole scenario kicks off right here. We're starting with a hypothetical investment of exactly $1,000, placed way back in 2012.
So you take that initial $1,000 and you use it to buy the asset. That means we've got to divide that investment by the price of a single unit at the time,
which was just $5. I mean, from where we're standing today, that price is almost hard to believe. But that $5 figure is the key to this entire calculation.
So when you do that simple division, $1,000 divided by a $5 price tag, you get the total number of units you would have owned. And that number is 200. Now, the source material calls them shares, so we'll just stick with that term. The really crucial takeaway here is that your $1,000 investment could have secured you 200 whole units of this asset way back in the early days.
And this, right here, this is the rocket fuel for the entire story. According to the source, those 200 shares then went through an absolutely massive growth spurt. They multiplied in value 1,000 times over the next few years.
So, what does a 1,000x growth actually look like in the real world? Well, that brings us to our next section, from dollars to dream homes.
And here it is, the final number. When you take those 200 units and apply that 1,000 times multiplier, you land on the valuation claimed in the source, a jaw-dropping $4,800,000.
You know, a number that big can feel totally abstract, almost like it's not real money. So to make it more concrete, the source material uses a really powerful real-world comparison to show you what that kind of money can actually get you.
And there you have it. That $4.8 million isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's presented as having the power to buy 10 houses. That really puts the scale of this whole financial what-if into a perspective you can actually picture.
All right, for our final section, let's just pull it all together and do a quick look back on this entire 1,000x journey.
So let's just run through the whole story one last time. It starts with $1,000 in 2012. You use that money to buy 200 of these shares at $5 a pop. Then you just watch it go through an incredible 1,000x growth phase. And finally, you land at that headline-grabbing $4.8 million valuation. That's the entire story, from A to Z.
And the source material we've been analyzing, it ends with a very direct call to action. Follow Wealth Masters for more.
And that brings our breakdown to a close. As we think about this incredible what-if scenario, it leaves us with one final, and I think really important question to chew on. What's the real difference between a brilliant investment and just pure, simple luck?